Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get-together here live on Facebook, 10:30 in the morning, every day of the week, where we get together and talk about news and stories and opinion and insight about our destination, Puerto Vallarta, and how we navigate it as locals. If you're new to these broadcasts, my name is Paco, and you're more than welcome to write the word new in your comments so that we can give you a nice welcome. We'd love to know where you are. We'd love to know how you found out about Coffee and Headlines. As always, it is great to see familiar faces. I am sorry to hear that our dear friend Rita Myers is heading back to Philadelphia for a few months, but I trust that if you're going, it's for a good reason. Drive safely. Fly safely. I hope you're not driving all the way up to Philadelphia, but I hope your travel is safe, and I hope you find your loved ones up north as they should be and as you should be, and all that good stuff. Yesterday, I don't want to wait any more time without acknowledging the fact that yesterday, much to my surprise, I found out that we've reached 1,000 Facebook page likes, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You make this community possible. You make this project possible. If it wasn't for your participation, for your engagement, for your comments, your suggestions, your questions, and your critiques, this adventure would not be possible. So you are essential, and I am grateful for your presence in this project. Let me very quickly take a look at your welcomes, and then we'll dive into our news and our headlines and our stories. If there is a good subject matter to summarize what's going on today, is the finger pointing just gets prettier and prettier. And what a colorful world we are living in. It really is. So let me very quickly jump into the headlines, and we'll take it from there. In the past couple of days, we've been talking about how governors of different states are not submitting the information about COVID-19 in a timely manner so that Hugo Lopez-Gatell and his infectious disease team can provide us with the weekly updates and, of course, the daily updates in his daily press conference. Now we learned that the Secretary of Government for the whole country, Olga Sanchez Cordero, has announced that moving forward, the stoplight for the country, that map that we share once a week, that shows states in the red or in the orange. Hopefully someday it'll show some states in the yellow or the green. Well, that map is now only going to be delivered every 2 weeks, not every week. Some of the states are claiming that they're submitting the information on schedule. Hugo Lopez-Gatell and his team are claiming that they are not receiving the information. Finger-pointing wars, what can I say? Meanwhile, our governor, Enrique Alfaro, published something on Facebook announcing a new section of the COVID-19 website for Jalisco called Datos Abiertos, or Open Information. What he argued, well, not argued, but what he stated in his post on Facebook is, we have nothing to hide. We want to make sure that you get all the numbers as they are, all the analysis as it is. We've started on this website. We still have some gaps to fill, but everything we've told you, everything that's going on in Jalisco as far as COVID-19 is concerned, can be found here. So I haven't had a chance to dive into this, and I'm not sure that I will dive into this with a lot of detail, because I think that ultimately what we can do about COVID is not so much freak out about the numbers as much as it is to take care of ourselves and our loved ones. But that's just my little opinion. But I will take a look at this website to see if there's anything important or useful to share here in Coffee and Headlines. I also learned through Vallarta Independiente that Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador is traveling to our state to discuss security issues. He's going to be in our state on July 16th. That would be in a couple of days. And his tour is also going to include the states of Guanajuato and Colima. Now, what do Jalisco, Guanajuato, and Colima have in common? Cartel related security. So he's probably going to be meeting with state officials to make sure that he can better understand how to address the security related needs for these states. Again, this has nothing to do with our own personal security per se, but it is good to know that our president is having a close encounter with our governor, hopefully. You know, Andres Alfaro, our governor, and our president have not necessarily seen COVID-19 policy eye to eye and other policies as well. So, and I know that our governor, Enrique Alfaro, has been hoping to have a personal meeting with the president. So hopefully good things will come out of this meeting. We certainly hope that. We also learned this week, actually I learned about this morning, that some construction of a luxurious residence going on in Conchas Chinas created some landslides, and there were a couple of people injured, and there were some damages done to some public infrastructure. Apparently, one of the towers that is built to monitor tsunami prevention was damaged, and so forth and so on. The article goes on to comment on all the construction that is going on in Conchas Chinas and how, of course, it's going to have an environment impact, an impact on the environment, rather. We also learned from, oh gosh, this is really spooky. We learned from Vallarta Opina as well that there was a group of tourists that were taking a tour to the Marietas Islands, you know, the popular islands that are a natural preserve here in our coast. And they were on a vessel called Obsession. I don't know if it was just a motorboat or if it was a larger vessel, but apparently they set out on Wednesday without any worries to have a day trip to the Marietas. And there was a mechanical failure on the vessel, and I'm inclined to believe that they did not have a radio on board because the vessel was not able to move. So what they decided is to try to get close to Las Islas Marietas, where there's absolutely no resources of any kind. And they decided, well, let's just sit at the Islas Marietas and wait for somebody to notice that we're missing. Well, 4 days went by before somebody noticed, and finally the local Navy was able to find them and rescue them, and apparently everything is okay with these tourists and everything is fine. But it makes me wonder if I would feel comfortable going very far on a vessel that doesn't have a radio, and I imagine that's the reason why this must have happened. I'm sure that if it had had a radio, this would not have happened. But I'm glad to learn that everybody seems to be okay. Boom, 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 boom. We have, this is a very important video. It only lasts like 1 minute, but it is the director of the World Health Organization talking about how the coronavirus crisis is going to get worse and worse and worse. Don't call him a party pooper, but he has a very good point. And he talks a lot about two things. Number one, personal responsibility. I mean, we know what we as individuals can and should do to stop the chain of contagion on the virus. And he also talks about how governments have a choice to be really transparent and give their populations information that can help them understand this reality. So I'm going to share this along with all of our links in the show notes later on today. We also heard from our good friends at Vox yet another thoughtful, clear explanation about the latest findings that the virus is airborne. I encourage that you read this as well. I suggest that you do because it helps us remain informed about what's going on, and it helps us better share this information with our friends and loved ones if it comes to that. Now, again, we make it a point to focus on local news because there are many sources around the world and online if you want to know about what's going on elsewhere. But this headline caught my attention from PBS NewsHour for a couple of reasons. First of all, because it shows President Trump wearing a face mask, but then the article, of course, is about how Trump in the White House are attacking Fauci in some of his statements. So again, it is unfortunate to see that as we become edgier and edgier about what's going on in our world, the finger pointing is very tempting, and sometimes it is fair, sometimes it is not fair. I just want to point out that it's out there. Let me take a quick look at your comments and questions to see if there's anything that I can address, something that we can comment. Yes, this is not something that is pretty. I'm glad again that it didn't come to something horrible, Logan. But I mean, being out and about for 4 days in an island that has absolutely nothing is something to think about. I see a few comments about the fact that we reached 1,000 likes. Thank you very much for your congratulations. They mean a lot to me. Oh, Candace is here. Let me tell you before I forget, and we're starting to jump into our leisurely stuff, and we'll get the weather on in a second. But as long as Candace is here, let me tell you, Candace and I had an awesome get-together last night. We met at Divino Dante for sangrias, and I recorded her account of her trip to the Copper Canyon, the train ride that we were talking about a few days ago, El Chepe. And it turned out into a funny, wonderful 20-minute video that I think I'm going to share with you separately of Coffee and Headlines because it's a long video. I'll just post it on the website when I'm done editing it. I'm not going to cut any sections because everything was funny and hopefully clear to listen to. But what I will do is I will pepper the video with some photographs that hopefully Candace will share with me, and also with some photographs and names and websites that I find online to make the video more useful to you, whether you'd like to go to Copper Canyon on a tour or on your own, whether you'd like to go in the summertime or the wintertime, or whether it is a good tour to take if you don't speak Spanish. So again, I am so thankful to Candace for her generosity of information. Give me a couple of days to put this together, and we'll have a look at it on the website. Let's have a look at our weather and all the leisurely stuff that I have planned. It is 82 degrees out. It feels like 90 degrees. It's 28 Celsius. Yesterday, we announced that we're entering the canicula. Is that part of the year where things get really, really warm, and it's going to last for more than a month. So hang in there, please. It's going to be really warm. Today is Tuesday. We're looking at a humid and partly cloudy day. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we are looking at a humid and mostly cloudy day throughout the day. We don't see much rain forecasted for the next few days. Although for today, we do see a 10% chance that we will get rain. So if it rains, let us just hope that the rain is plentiful, because it is when we just get a drizzle that the weather just seems to get more humid and worse. Moving right along through your comments, I just want to make sure that I don't miss any important questions. Lots of congratulations. Congratulate yourselves, period, because you are this community. I think it's really wonderful. to build it together. It is nice that Paul is here. Paul Christ, my dear friend, had his eye surgery yesterday. Um, and I understand that it was very successful. Paul, we wish you the very, very best. And I understand that you're going to come back um, sometime soon. I will be in touch with you personally to make sure that you have everything you need. But let us be glad for the fact that Paul had a successful eye surgery, and let us hope that this one will continue to work out well. Oh, I see a lot of great, wonderful comments from you. Um, Candace says all boats must have a radio and sign out and back in with port captain. Yipes, 4 days. Yes, absolutely. Um, and that's a simple one to solve, I suppose. At least from a consumer point of view. I will ask moving forward to every single boat that I hop on the bay. Uh, do you have a radio or not? And then I can make the choice whether I want to ride it. But um, Gigi asks, how do we know if they have a radio before we embark? I think we just ask, do you have a radio on the boat? Just as legitimate is to ask if you have what do you call them in English? Life vests? Well, those orange chingaderas, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, all boats are supposed to have them. I often see them in the boats that I've taken to the south of the bay, but I don't necessarily always have the boat captain telling me, well, you should be wearing it. So again, the information is out there. It is entirely up to us to decide how much we want to live in risk or not. And this is an interesting commentary because, we choose to go on these vessels or not, depending on how comfortable we are taking risks in our life. We choose to stay home or not with COVID, depending on how comfortable we are with taking risks in our lives. And this is something that Candace and I were chatting about yesterday. I mean, we live in risk every day. It just so happens that COVID became this very strange and wonky exotic risk that is somewhat different than other risks, but let's not go there because we've had this conversation before. I see a yay, Copper Canyon, wonderful, because again, you're going to love the conversation that I have with Candace. And of course, Astrid is going to help us, Astrid from Superior Tours, with additional information. Boom, 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 boom. Stacy chimes in, and this is wonderful, Stacy. This is good to know. Please feel free to let us know what your husband does for a living, because if it's something that we can help promote, by all means, this is the place to do it. Thank you very much for chiming in. Paul comments like getting on a plane. You get the safety talk demonstration. Not a bad idea for getting on a boat. Absolutely. Dun, 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 dun. Isaac says somebody got fingered, and I'm not entirely sure who did because I am looking at I'm not looking at your comments as you answer one another. But I love that you guys engage in conversation. This is super awesome. Anyhow, I see that we've gotten to the end of the comments, so let me continue with some of my headlines. Yesterday, I noticed that somebody was asking, what is a cruise ship doing here? And what goes on is cruise ships come in and out of the bay to replenish their supplies. Trust me, I don't think there's any tourists on these boats. But what did happen here is that Saturday, early in the morning, the Koningsdam arrived coming here from Panama and is going to be here until the following Friday. 143 crew have descended so that they can go back to their places of origin, and they will be replaced by 120 workers that are essential to keep the vessel in good condition. So this is why we see this cruise ship here. It's not about a tourism activity or anything to that effect. Bam, ba-ding, bam, boom, bam, bam. I also found out this headline from Vallarta Opina that says that there are volunteer efforts cleaning the Pitiyal River and finding a lot of debris. I would love to commend these volunteers. And it is unfortunate how a lot of times when local papers report on these kinds of things, they will tell you this happened, but they will not close the loop by informing readers about when it's going to happen again or where or how can one get involved. And this is something that we always try to do here at Coffee and Headlines. So if you happen to find out who was involved in this effort and how we can get involved in the next one, it would very much be appreciated. Moving on with our headlines and diving into how colorful our world is, let me tell you that the world must be coming to an end because everybody's coming to everybody's speaking out their truths or something. Velma is a lesbian, according to the producers of Scooby-Doo, but apparently the movie makers did not want to divulge this on the film that they made. What has this got to do with Puerto Vallarta? Absolutely nothing, but I thought you should know. Velma is gay. Along the lines of things that have absolutely nothing to do with Puerto Vallarta, but I thought you might want to know. After four seasons, it turns out that Lucifer has a twin brother. Now, that is not something that I would complain about, actually, but, the series has been going on for 4 seasons, and now the cliffhanger or the tease for the upcoming 5th season is the fact that Lucifer has a twin brother. Talk about a sandwich, Jesus Christ. And last but not least, happy ending, or at least happy ending, I hope. This elephant seal that was in San Pancho and that became nicknamed as Panchito has, well, not disappeared, but apparently Panchito, he went swimming in the ocean and he never came back. So let us hope that Panchito had a good time just chilling at the beaches in San Pancho. Let us hope that now he's going back in the ocean. He's going back to where he's supposed to be. And let us hope that he continues to have a good journey, just like we hope that our dear friend Dave Van Pelt is having a good time here in Puerto Vallarta. Yesterday, we were wondering on how he might be. And I reached out to him to say, if you want to come in and let us know how your trip went when it is over, we would love to have you here. I see an interesting question from, where are you? From Bridget Dolan. Bridget asks, any new updates on whether or not we will have a new lockdown beginning tomorrow? Bridget, let me tell you, it doesn't work that way. Your question is a good question, and a lot of people have the question, but please understand that even when it is a good question, it's similar to asking, will we have an earthquake tomorrow or the day after or a tsunami? Based on the numbers that we shared a couple of days ago, no, I don't think it'll happen tomorrow, and I don't think it'll happen the day after. But it's the kind of thing that, we cannot, unfortunately, say, well, pack your bags because on July 21st, we're going to close down. The close down, if it happens, when it happens, will be determined for better or worse on the numbers. And the numbers are directly related to how we conduct ourselves through the pandemic. So it's unfortunately, it is not an easy thing to address. And even if we've moved on to the leisurely topics, we can talk about everything at any time, Bridget. If you are here trying to go somewhere, if you are here and you live here and you're thinking whether you should, go on a mega crazy shopping trip, I don't know. But just try to be the best person you can be. Like we all should try to be the best people we can be by following guidelines, taking care of ourselves, wearing the face masks, and so forth. Uh, Rita, you make my day. We really have to down a bottle of wine at some point in our immediate future. I know you're heading away for a few months, but I love you, and I love the friends that I'm making through coffee and headlines. You guys are so amazing. Deanna says, "Go Panchito." I say, "Go Panchito." Um, Let us see. Boom, bing, bam, boom, bam, bam. Mm. Uh, Stacy's husband owns Hooked PV, a fishing tour boat. Excellent. Oh, did I miss that? Maybe I missed that comment. I'm not a. You see, you have a lot of comments here, but if Stacy's husband is doing something awesome that we can take advantage of and promote, please let me know. Send me a note. Send me a message. You know where to find me because we're happy to share all kinds of wonderful things. Uh, some of your comments are really great. Scooby Doo, what can I say? And Lucifer, hello, he's not ugly. He's kind of pretty. Before I forget, a few days, our dear friend Zoe Lewis is apparently uh, having one of her last lives of the season because I read somewhere that this is going to be the last one for a while. So, Thursday, July 16, celebrate Bastille Day with Zoe Lewis and the Social Distancers. Um, it's going to be a lot of fun. We know her, we love her, and she is super awesome. Um, John wants to complete. Okay, my computer's acting up, but I'm reading that John is asking. Yesterday, you sort of answered what the difference between buenos dias and buen dia is. I am not a Spanish speaker, but it appears to me that buen dia is using an understood verb and indirect pronoun like tienes un buen día, whereas buenos días is a simple greeting, or am I completely off base? I don't think you're completely off base, but I found it really funny that being Mexican and Spanish being a native language, I've never truly concerned myself much about the difference between buen dia and buenos dias. I'm being honest with you. It is not the kind of thing that you look at your watch and you say, oh, it is 5:45, so now it becomes buenas noches as opposed to buenas tardes. I think the difference in regional and can even be very, very subtle. So I don't know that I would concern much about this. And I will do some research. If anybody is losing sleep about this, or if it's that you're really concerned about, I will gladly look into it. But again, I think it's not much the point of getting it right or getting it wrong. It is the point of having this intention out. And it is now 10:56, and I see we're almost to half hour. I truly don't have anything else to share, and I see my computer is acting up like it sometimes acts up. And I certainly hope that you're able to catch this part of the broadcast because my computer seems to have frozen again. Darn it. I'm going to stick around for a little bit longer just in case I can get control back of my computer events. I hope that this is not those days in which we lost our broadcast. So if you are there and my computer is just not refreshing, I thank you for being here. If you are not here, then I apologize for not being able to follow this through live with you. And hopefully, I'll be able to wrap this up as I should. Nope, my computer is frozen. So I have no way of knowing whether you continue to be here or not. So I'm going to continue just sort of hanging out because I hate to not be able to say goodbye when I want to say goodbye. Boom, boom, bum, bum, boom, bum, boom. Nope, my computer is super slow. It must be updating something in the background. So again, I hope that you are still with me. I hope that you were able to be with me till the very end. And I'm going to force quit this broadcast because I want to make sure that I understand what is going on so that I can prevent it in the future. So if you had a complete broadcast, again, I thank you. If the broadcast got interrupted, I suppose I will find out in a second. And doon, 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 and we'll take it from there. Oh my goodness. Lots of strange behavior on my computer. Again, this is a mystery to me. So if you leave the broadcast at this point in time, I would not hold it against you. I'm just trying to uh, see what makes my computer crash. So if you have left, I won't hold it against you. You're not missing anything. I just want to stay here because it is important for me to understand whether this is working or not. And I think my computer is coming back to its senses. And I think we have been